Most people using Elevenlabs are getting maybe 10% of what the platform can actually do. And I don't mean they're skipping features that nobody cares about. I mean they're missing the things that actually determine whether a voice AI project succeeds or fails. I've processed over 200,000 automated calls with voice agents and helped hundreds of agencies do the same. And the operators crushing it on Elevenlabs all do 5 things differently. And in this video, I'm going to show you all 5. Number 1, your agent is not as good as you think it is, but you don't know what's wrong with it. In Elevenlabs, one of the things that is least used is the analysis tab. In this tab, when you go ahead and create a new agent, it will auto-create the criteria that will define whether conversations were successful or not. And it will also define what data needs to get collected. You can add any criteria and you can add any data point that you want to collect in your conversation. When you have the right data, you have guidance on what you need to improve. I had a client book a private consultation with me. They come to the call and they're like, there's something wrong with my agent. And I asked them what's wrong. They're like, I don't know. So the first thing that I did was I set up analysis. Once I have the criteria, made a few calls, and then we could identify this is not doing what it's supposed to do. This is what we need to do instead. Once you have the data, you can know what to fix. However, once the foundation is right, a lot of people still hit a ceiling because they're using the wrong model. So now we go to number 2, which is choosing the right model. You always have to consider 3 things: speed, quality, and cost. The problem is they're doing it the other way around. First, you want to optimize for quality. You want to go for the bigger, more expensive, and slower models. Why? Because that's how you can find out how your prompt can work the best. If you're working on a prompt, especially a complicated prompt, with a worse model, and you're trying to fix issues with it, you're going to be running around in circles because the prompt is already what it needs to be. The model is the problem. So these are the models that I suggest: Gemini 3 Flash, GPT 5.1, and GPT 4.1. Those models are going to give you the best quality. Once you have already launched your agent, once it's already working, then you will have real world conversations. Through those conversations is how we're going to test the same prompt with a worse model, and we're going to have something to compare against. This is with the bigger model, this is with the smaller model. Now we can start tweaking the prompt, fixing what doesn't work as well with the smaller model, but you have real world data to ground it with. Number 3, the agent is the engine, but you still need to build the car. People often come to me with a great voice agent. The voice sounds good, natural conversation, low latency, but then when they try to package it for a client, they realize they have nothing. No way for the client to see what's happening, no call analytics, no way to see whether the agent is making them money. They built an engine, but they forgot to build a car. And this is something I talk about all the time. The 1% of operators are thinking about the client experience from day one. They're thinking of the branded portal that they're gonna give to the client, where they're gonna be able to see calls and bookings. They can pull up reports showing how many appointments were set by the agent this month, and they can transparently show which scenarios the voice agent handled very well and which scenarios not so much, which helps them justify to the client what they're paying them for, to make the agent better consistently. That is not a voice agent, that is a voice AI business. And the impact that has on how the client sees you, sees your service, one is a feature that they can cancel at any point. The other one is the revenue engine of their business. And tools like ChatDash exist specifically for that layer: the client portal, the call analytics, the access control, that whole side of it. And it's the obvious thing to reach for when you're building this with your client in mind. And building that full product experience is one thing, but building it for 50 clients is something completely different. And that also happened to me. The moment I hit around 10 clients, everything was going well, but then suddenly everything fell apart. What I used to do, and what most people currently do, is build things manually. I used to do every billing calculation by hand and then send invoices at the end of the month manually. And at 10 clients, that's annoying. But at 50, then everything fails. So my business was booming, but I was miserable. This took me a while to learn, but the operators building the most efficient businesses have one thing: a system, one infrastructure that holds all 50 clients. There's one more thing that determines whether a client stays with you for years or churns within 2 months. And that's number 5, data. Client retention in voice AI comes down to visibility. It comes down to them being able to see what the agent is doing and that it's performing. Without reporting, you're just a subscription. With reporting, you're the lifeblood of their business. And think about it from their end. now they're able to sleep well at night. And remember, this is not whether your agent is working or not. Your agent might be working well, but if they can't see it, then they're gonna be stressed about it. When a client can log in and see that the agent booked 47 appointments last month, then they're not thinking about canceling. They're thinking about scaling. So if you're thinking about scaling with just a little bit of hand-holding at the beginning to show them how they can pull their own reports, you can think about your next client and not the past 10. And that's really the thread connecting all 5 of these optimizations. Elevenlabs is amazing technology, but amazing technology doesn't retain the clients. And results are only visible if you've built the infrastructure to show them. If this changed how you're thinking about voice AI, the next step is building something with it. So click this video here, which walks you how to build a voice AI system from scratch. Everything from the setup to going live with your first voice agent. I'll see you there.